Hey there. Today we're diving into Takopi's original sin, and let me tell you, this isn't your typical feel-good anime story. Picture this. Imagine if Doraemon took a dark psychological turn. Same colorful aesthetic, same magical gadgets, same innocent alien trying to help a struggling child. But instead of heartwarming adventures, we get a brutal examination of trauma, revenge, and the terrifying cycle of harm. What makes this story so devastating is its central theme. Everyone is both victim and perpetrator. There are no pure heroes here. No clear villains, just broken people, hurting other broken people in an endless tragic cycle. So buckle up, because we're about to explore one of the most emotionally complex narratives ever created. Let's start with our main characters, because each one perfectly embodies this victim-perpetrator paradox. Shizuka, the innocent who finds relief in darkness. Shizuka begins as the perfect victim, a lonely elementary school girl with an absent father, a neglectful mother, and daily torment at school. She's covered in bruises. Her belongings are destroyed. Her spirit is crushed. When we first meet her, she's completely overwhelmed and isolated at just 10 years old. Everything about her screams innocent victim, right? But here's the twist that makes this story so brilliant and so disturbing. When Marina's story takes an unexpected turn, Shizuka doesn't react with horror or trauma. She smiles. For the first time in the story, she experiences pure, genuine happiness because her difficult situation has changed. Shizuka doesn't just passively benefit from this turn of events, she actively encourages covering it up. She manipulates Naoki into helping dispose of evidence. Later, when they need to maintain their secret, she has no qualms about Takopi impersonating the girl who's no longer with them. The victim becomes someone who finds peace through tragedy, who finds relief in another's absence, who treats this devastating turn of events as a miracle. Shizuka transforms from an innocent sufferer to someone morally compromised by her own pain. Marina, the bully with a breaking heart. On the surface, Marina is the classic antagonist, the school bully who makes Shizuka's life hell through psychological and physical torment. She's cruel, relentless, and seemingly enjoys causing pain. But peel back the layers, and Marina emerges as perhaps the story's greatest victim. Every night, she returns to a home where her parents' marriage is disintegrating. Her father openly plans to abandon the family for another woman. Shizuka's mother, her own mother, consumed by rage and alcohol, uses Marina as a weapon of revenge. She fills her daughter's head with hatred against Shizuka's family. Marina is not born with malice. She is manufactured by adult dysfunction. She's a child soldier in her mother's war, carrying out harm she doesn't fully understand. When she attacks Shizuka, she's really attacking the symbol of her family's destruction. Even her cruelest moments, like deliberately ensuring Cappy gets taken away, come from her own desperate pain. She's trying to make Shizuka feel the same abandonment she experiences every day. Marina's story ends as both victim and perpetrator, a child destroyed by adult failures who cause pain to another child in return. Takopi, the helper who becomes responsible for tragedy. This is perhaps the most heartbreaking transformation in the story. Takopi comes from a planet called Happy. His species exists solely to spread joy throughout the universe. He's innocent in the truest sense, incapable of understanding human cruelty until he experiences it firsthand. Takopi genuinely wants to help Shizuka. Every magical gadget he offers comes from pure intention. When he sees her suffering, his response is compassionate and immediate. But good intentions without understanding can be catastrophic. Takopi's help consistently makes Shizuka's situation worse. His interventions escalate Marina's anger. His time-traveling attempts to fix problems only create new complications. His innocent presence becomes a catalyst for greater harm. The ultimate irony is that when Takopi finally succeeds in helping Shizuka, it happens through an unexpected turn of events that changes everything. The being whose purpose is spreading happiness finds a resolution only through difficult choices. Takopi becomes responsible for a life-changing event, but he's also a victim of his own innocence, of impossible circumstances, of caring so deeply that he will compromise his own nature to help someone. Naoki, the good boy who chooses darkness. Naoki represents the good kid archetype, honor student, dutiful son, the type of person who should make moral choices. He is also a victim of family pressure, living in his perfect brother's shadow, constantly disappointing his mother despite his best effort. His feelings for Shizuka are pure and protective. When he offers to help her, it comes from genuine care. But when faced with the choice between justice and loyalty, between right and wrong, Naoki chooses to help cover up what happened. A good person makes a morally questionable choice because he loves someone who needs protecting. Naoki becomes an accomplice to concealing tragedy, not despite his goodness, but because of it. His love for Shizuka compromises his moral compass completely. The genius of Takopi's original sin lies in how it shows victimization as a cycle, not a static state. The adult failures. At the root of everything are the adults who fail these children catastrophically. Shizuka's parents, whose affair and divorce create instability for both families. Marina's parents, who use their daughter as a weapon in their own emotional war. The school system that enables systematic bullying. Naoki's mother, who crushes her son's self-worth through constant comparison. These adults create victims, who then create more victims. Marina's mother's pain becomes Marina's weapon against Shizuka. Shizuka's suffering becomes the catalyst for Takopi's desperate action. Takopi's deed becomes Naoki's moral compromise. Each victim, trying to survive their own pain, creates new victims. What makes this even more complex is the story's time travel element. We discover that Takopi originally came to Earth in 2022, where he met teenage Marina and still trapped in the same cycle of abuse and harm. In that timeline, Marina grows up but never heals. Her victimization in childhood creates an adult perpetrator who continues the cycle. When Takopi tries to help, by going back to 2016, he doesn't break the cycle, he just redirects it. The story suggests that trauma without proper healing doesn't disappear. It simply transforms and perpetuates itself across time and generations. What makes Takopi's original sin so powerful is its refusal to offer simple moral judgments. No pure evil, no pure good. Marina is cruel, but she's also a broken child. Shizuka is innocent, but she finds peace in tragedy. Takopi is loving, but he commits a desperate act. Naoki is kind, but he chooses to cover up what happened. The story forces us to hold multiple truths simultaneously. That Marina deserves compassion for her trauma and accountability for her cruelty. That Shizuka deserves protection from abuse and recognition that her response to trauma is morally complex. Who's really responsible for Marina's fate? Takopi. Who made the fateful choice? Marina's parents, whose dysfunction created her aggression. Shizuka's parents, whose affair triggered the family war. The school system that allowed systematic bullying. Naoki, who helped conceal the truth. Society, which failed all these children. The story suggests that in cycles of trauma and harm, responsibility is shared and complex. The most challenging aspect is how altering the cycle of victimization requires difficult choices. Takopi helps Shizuka through complex means. Resolution comes through challenging circumstances. The cycle shifts but creates new complications. Takopi's original sin isn't just telling us that pain creates more pain, it's showing us the terrifying complexity of trauma, the way pain transforms everyone it touches, and how the desire to help can become its own form of harm. The story's brilliance lies in its refusal to offer easy answers. There's no magical solution that fixes everyone's trauma. There's no pure victim who deserves only sympathy. No pure perpetrator who deserves only condemnation. Instead, we get a mirror held up to humanity's darkest truth, that we are all capable of being both victim and perpetrator, sometimes simultaneously, sometimes in response to each other. The title, Original Sin, suggests something fundamental and inescapable about human nature, our capacity to harm others, even when we're trying to help, even when we're suffering ourselves. In the end, every character faces consequences for the cycle they're trapped in. Some lose their innocence, some carry emotional burdens, some struggle with moral complexity, and perhaps most challenging, the cycle continues even after the story ends. because trauma, when it's not properly healed, only creates new challenges. That's the real impact of Takopi's original sin. Not the dramatic events themselves, but the recognition that this cycle is happening everywhere, all the time in real life. That we are all, in our own ways, both victims and perpetrators in the endless human drama of pain creating pain. And maybe, just maybe, recognizing that complexity is the first step toward changing the cycle. Not through dramatic intervention, but through understanding, compassion, and the patient work of healing. That's what makes this story so important and so devastating to experience. Despite its shadows, Takopi's original sin leaves us with a quiet seed of hope. By exposing the tangled truth that victims can become perpetrators and those who harm are often hurting too, it challenges us to respond to conflict with empathy, not just judgment. It never excuses cruelty, but it asks us to understand its roots. And in that understanding lies the first chance to break the cycle, before it grows and claims more lives. Sometimes the stories that stay with us are the ones that make us uneasy, because discomfort can push us toward change. Takopi's original sin is such a story, a dark mirror reflecting our dual capacity for harm and for healing. So when you meet someone difficult, pause. Remember, the wounds we cannot see often shape the actions we can, and maybe through compassion, the cycle can finally begin to fade.